Hey everyone, thank you for checking out this property analysis. My name is Ryan Cushman. I'm a realtor and investor in North Georgia, focused on helping you find and analyze short-term rental investment properties that will cash flow and provide a better opportunity for you and your family. Today, I have a really cool new build property I'd like to dive into. Before we jump to that, if you'd like to connect with me or ask me any questions about short-term rental investing, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Cushman_REI, or you can find me and all of my links here at ryancushman.com. You're welcome to book a call with me, a free consultation, and or check out a couple of free resources that are there for anyone to grab. One of which is a short-term rental investment calculator, which is free, which is the one that I use and is free to anyone who'd like to get in some reps of analyzing short-term rentals. So let's jump into it. This property is a new build, like I mentioned. It is in Ellijay. Some of these are just concept pictures, but it is being built, and there are current or what I believe to be relatively current shots of where it is in the construction stage. So as you can see from these renders, and the renders can tend to look cooler and more unique than reality ends up being. I've experienced that myself with a property or two. But if it's somewhat close to what these renders are indicating, it's going to be a pretty beautiful looking and unique to the area property. We mostly have very traditional cabins, and this design, this more Nordic design, is very popular and pretty uncommon still. So you can see here's the shot of the way it looks under construction today. We have what appear to be some pretty awesome views, year-round views, not just seasonal views. And you knock out one or two of these trees, and really you're going to have a pretty spectacular set of views around the property. So here's a shot of the inside of it, just studs right now, but it looks spacious. It looks like it's on a cool lot. And if it's, like I said, anything close to what those renders are looking like, it's going to be pretty awesome, I think. Here's the outside without it being painted black or anything yet. So yeah, pretty great looking property, or what I think it will be. We've got that very nice modern bathtub. And so that is that. All right, so it's 2,800 square feet. It's 4.5 baths. It's coming in at almost $1 million. It is currently under construction, and I don't know what the anticipated completion timeline is looking like, but I would guess probably in the next, if these photos of the construction are relatively recent, I would guess somewhere in the next 2 to 3 months it'll be completed. And it already has undergone a couple of price cuts. So it went live at the end of December at 1.075 and has come down quite a bit, almost 100K. Now, does it make sense from a financial standpoint? Let's check it out. The higher priced properties up into the $1 million range can tend to be a little bit daunting, a little bit scary, and certainly there's a little bit more on the line with properties that cost that much, a little bit less room for forgiveness and lower margin for error. But let's check it out. Okay, so when we check out Rabu, I've gone through and done a couple of filters already. Let's see what we have here. I bumped out the radius to 5 miles. We're wanting to compare ourselves with other properties that have hot tubs. And let's see if adding an EV charger does anything. Nope, not enough data points. What about a sauna? Also not enough data points. So opportunities, saunas and EV chargers. I think EV chargers are becoming more and more popular and a really great amenity because EVs are becoming more and more common. Also, there are no superchargers. We did a little bit of research in the Blue Ridge Ellijay market area. There's no superchargers, so having an EV charger could really open up the renter pool for folks looking in the North Georgia mountain market. So that's something that is an opportunity, I think, out there. So let's just do hot tub. Let's open up the range a little bit more as well to get a couple more data points in the pool here. All right, so 44K. That obviously is pretty bad. Let's see what the comps are looking like. Okay, nice property. It's got everything you'd want at a short-term rental cabin. Looks like it's well designed, well decor. It's got a playground. It's got swings. It's got string lights. It's got a fire pit. Nice stuff. Little putting green. Okay, very nice. Another nice one over here. Pretty new looking, beautiful cabin. What does it look like if we are in the 75th percentile of the properties within 6 miles? All right, so we're doing 68K, and we're competing with some pretty great looking, but also not overly uncommon looking cabins. And people go for that. Obviously, there's a market for it. 68K, not bad. I think we're still losing money on this $1 million property at that. Let's see what the 90th percentile looks like. All right, 83K. And we've got just a few properties that show up in that range. So this one, River Run Luxury Riverfront, let's see which one that is. That's this one. I don't know why it shows up in the night. Sometimes these figures in Rabu are confusing. It's getting a 735 average daily rate, and only 23% occupancy, $5,100 a month. So it's a nice looking cabin. All right, so grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt. Some of the data points in here are a little confusing. We end up with, if we're performing the 90th percentile, which again, this is a unique offering in the marketplace. There are, you saw the top performing properties according to Rabu. None of them look like this. Some of them have water amenities on the property or close to the property. They all have hot tubs and beds and fire pits and whatnot, which we would include in this property. None of them look like this, and so that's an opportunity. Let's check out what Price Labs is telling us. All right, so the reason why I clicked on EV charger in Rabu was because I did it here in Price Labs, and it was very interesting. So we're looking at properties, active listings. We want to consider properties that have hot tubs, of course. And when we're running with the averages, we're in a similar range as what Rabu was telling us. On the low end, 23K for a 4-bedroom, which is atrocious. On the high end, 60K. And we've got 120 listings that are matching that criteria. So we're running with the averages. If we have an EV charger, though, we end up only being able to compare ourselves with 3 other properties. And we're in the 77 to 113 range, which is a lot more interesting. Let's take a look at the properties that are pulling up in that range. So we've got one for 120. How do we look? How do we compare? This is a beautiful property with great views. but also looks like we've maybe got some great views here with this property. Take better pictures and maybe knock out one or two of these trees, like I mentioned. Sunnier skies with the sunset. I think we compare. This is obviously a digitally edited photo with the sun either rising or setting, not sure, but this is just a better looking photo. We've got that check. All right, so we're not on the water. This property looks to be up the hill from a water feature. All right, so we're missing there. They've got some kayaks. That's a good plus for them. But pretty much everything else, our property is going to look. I say our. This Old Northcutt is going to be just as beautiful, if not more so, just in with a different vibe. Fire pit, I would say, is something that's important to budget for on the front end. And string lights, that's all doable. And amenities, we want to make sure we have some nice looking amenities, a pool table, some arcade games, so all stuff, yard games. These are all important things to budget in for. These outdoor swings on this big deck, that's beautiful. So this is a great property, and I think it deserves to be earning what it's earning. I think we can compete with that and hit a few different notes that this property is hitting, and still get close to what it earns. Let's take a look at this one. It is doing $97K. Also a beautiful property, very nice looking, very modern, pretty new looking, and offers some great amenities, beautiful design. Yeah. So these are some great data points. This one doing $51K. Nice looking property, but not as nice as the other two, I would say. Maybe only by a little though. So not sure what this property is missing. Perhaps a fairly uncompelling hero shot. I would say this is a fairly uncompelling hero shot. They could afford to adjust maybe a couple of their photos. It's also hosted by Southern Comfort, which is a professional property management company, and I don't recommend those. So let's take a look at the short-term rental calculator. Again, this is a free resource I offer on ryancushman.com. All right, we're plugging in the list price. With it having had a couple of price drops, I think there's some opportunity to bake in some closing costs at the very least, or some money to be allocated post-closing toward improvements of some kind, whether that's a fire pit, whether that's going into the cost of setting up a hot tub or some other outdoor amenity. Opportunities for that. I think furnishing and setup and design could be on the high end. You're having to start from scratch on the furnishing front, so we could be looking at $50K. Maybe that's too much, but if you think about putting in high-end furniture and 4 bedrooms and couches and pool tables or whatever, all that can start to add up. A hot tub for a property this size, you're going to want a bigger one, so you could be looking at a $6,000 or $7,000 hot tub plus the installation. So it could add up pretty quickly. But I think there's opportunity to bake some of that cost into the offer, especially since they've already realized a couple of price drops. Sellers and builders don't want to hang on to things longer than they have to, and it's a slow market, so there's opportunity for that. Okay, so having taken all that into consideration, let's take a look at the numbers. All right, so we have scenario 1 where we're doing about $80K. We're coming close to breaking even. So like I mentioned before, with these higher priced properties, it is a little bit dicier. You have less wiggle room, but I think this can be a very high performing property. So 80K I think is very achievable. And the other two scenarios I have here are for 93K and 121K, which are all close to being in the range of where, you know, the middle and the high end we're looking to be with some of our rental projection tools. And so at those numbers, we're doing $1,000 a month, and then as much if we're getting into the 90th percentile, about $3,000 in cash flow every month, which is awesome. Then at that point, you are cash flowing almost $40,000 a month, which with a super property like this, I think is very reasonable. And with it being, you know, the higher end of the market, if we add a couple of those amenities, again, you know, I think that EV charger amenity, while I don't think it actually drives that much revenue, it shows the caliber of property that has those and what they tend to do. So I wouldn't say an EV charger is a must, but if you're going to put $1 million into a property that looks like this, very modern, you want to have modern amenities, which would include EV chargers these days. It's definitely something that I'm considering adding at a couple of our properties. So if you have any interest in exploring opportunities like this in the North Georgia mountain market, please reach out to me. You can, again, find me on Instagram, Cushman_REI, or RyanCushman.com, and all my links and contact information, opportunities to schedule a call with me are located right there. I'd love to connect with you, and feel free to ping me with questions, concerns, or spitball on other opportunities in the market. And I'd love to help you take the first steps or the next steps in your short-term rental investment journey. Thanks again for watching the whole way through, and we'll see you next time.